You might not know it, but I've been working on my family tree since I was a young teen. I've been considering doing some videos on tips for researching your own genealogy. Just let me know if anyone's interested in seeing more of these videos. This all began the other day when I got an email from FamilySearch.org with the enticing message, "You're related to William Shakespeare." So I went to the page and it asked again, "Are you related to William Shakespeare?" Well, I figured they thought I was at the time, and from the message I thought I was too. So I signed into my account just to get the message. We don't see a direct relationship. Boy, that built me up for a fall. But just for fun, I thought I'd share some of the numerous famous people I am related to, and just what the relationship associated with them really means. This is an incomplete list, giving mostly my paternal connections. For the record, one of my cousins actually appears on the famous Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band album cover 3 times. The Beatles had 2, but I'll tell you who these are when I get to them. And you'll be surprised. I was. But let me give you some instances that I've came up with on my own. On my mom's side, I found distant cousins such as Jesse Donald Knotts, who was an American actor and comedian. He is also widely known for his role as Deputy Sheriff Barney Fife on a 1960s sitcom, The Andy Griffith Show, for which he earned 5 Emmy Awards. He also played Ralph Furley on the sitcom Three's Company. He starred in multiple comedic films, including leading roles in The Incredible Mr. Limpet and The Ghost and Mr. Chicken. In 2004, TV Guide ranked him numbered 27th on his 50 Greatest TV Stars of All Time list. Another one, James Earl Carter, Jr., was an American politician and humanitarian who served from 1977 to 1981 as the 39th President of the United States. As a member of the Democratic Party, Carter served from 1971 to 1975 as the 76th Governor of Georgia, and from 1963 to 1967 in the Georgia State Senate. He was the longest-lived president in U.S. history and the first to reach the age of 100. Along with Jimmy Carter comes his much younger brother, Billy, who liked to drink beer. That's all. He liked it. A lot. So much so, he made his own brand, Billy Beer. Speaking of beer, one of my family ancestral names, the Hodels, were highly involved in the founding of breweries in Cumberland, Maryland. Coming from the German-speaking part of Switzerland during the early 18th century, the Hodel family seemed to have brought some of the art of old world brewing to Cumberland, Maryland. And at one point, the small city of Cumberland was home to as many as 18 large old breweries back in the day. But not all the Hodels were brewers. One local railroad worker, Francis Patrick Hodel, had a very gifted voice and even played at Carnegie Hall.
Danny boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside.
He was my first cousin, 3 times removed. That is to say, he was my great-great-grandfather's brother's son. We shared a common ancestor in John Hodel, my great-great-great-grandfather. But what I got from my family search page seems to all mostly stem from my paternal grandmother, Edna Pauline Craig. When I started out on the tree some 40-something years ago, she was such a valuable resource of family history. Some of her family's surnames were Chastain, which traces back to 1080 AD, and Barrett, going back to the 1500s. It made it much easier. Normally those families have ties to nobility since they have the most traceable lineages. But back to family search. According to them, my closest relative is Susan B. Anthony. Famed women's rights advocate and suffragist, more recently known as the face of a failed coin. With the issue of a new dollar coin in 1979, Anthony became the first woman to be depicted on a United States currency, although the honor was somewhat mitigated by popular rejection of the coin because its size was so similar to that of the 25-cent coin. Many vending machines loved them, mistaking them for quarters. The public was not amused. Susan would not be the only suffragist in my list. Susan B. Anthony is my 5th cousin, 5 times removed. Emily Dickinson is my 7th cousin, 4 times removed. Franklin D. Roosevelt is my 7th cousin, and another president on this list, not to be the last. Franklin D. Roosevelt is my 7th cousin, 3 times removed. Also known as FDR, he was the 32nd President of the United States, serving from 1933 until his death in 1945. He is the longest surviving U.S. President in office, and the only one to have served more than 2 terms. Harper Lee is my 7th cousin, twice removed. Nell Harper Lee was an American novelist whose 1960 novel, To Kill a Mockingbird, won the 1961 Pulitzer Prize and became a classic of modern American literature. Well, howdy, partner. John Wayne is my 7th cousin, 3 times removed. Marion Robert Morrison, professionally known as John Wayne and nicknamed the Duke, was an American actor who became a popular icon through his starring roles in films which were produced during Hollywood's golden age, especially in Western and war movies. Well, God bless us, everyone. Charles Dickens is my 7th cousin, 7 times removed. Charles John Huffman Dickens was an English novelist, journalist, short story writer, and social critic. He created some of literature's best-known fictional characters and is regarded by many as the greatest novelist of the Victorian era, best known for books such as A Christmas Carol, Oliver Twist, and A Tale of Two Cities. Now I'll tell you, this one is someone I wish was a friend.
Thank you, thank you. I wanna thank you. Thank you for being a friend. I wanna thank you. Thank you, thank you. I wanna thank you.
Thank you, Betty White. She is my 8th cousin, 3 times removed. I love this woman. Betty Marion Ludden, born White, known professionally as Betty White, was an American actress and comedian, a pioneer of early television with a career spanning almost 7 decades. She was noted for her vast number of television appearances, acting in sitcoms, sketch comedy, and game shows. Here's another one I can't help but love. Judy Garland is my eighth cousin twice removed. Judy Garland, born Frances Ethel Gumm, was an American actress, singer, and vaudevillian. Known for her powerful contralto voice, emotional depth, and versatility, Garland rose to international fame as Dorothy Gale in The Wizard of Oz.
Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby.
From 1939, a role that cemented her status as a Hollywood legend. Now let's reset our flight plan and get some inventors in here. Notably, Wilbur and Orville Wright. They are my eighth cousins 3 times removed. The Wright brothers, Orville Wright and Wilbur Wright, were American aviation pioneers, generally credited with inventing, building, and flying the world's first successful airplane. Well, holy hobgoblin, can you imagine? Adam West is my 9th cousin twice removed. William West Anderson, known as Adam West, was an American actor. He portrayed Batman in a 1960s ABC series of the same name and its 1966 theatrical feature film, reprising the role in various media until 2017. Now, without any pride or prejudice, I must admit there's another famed writer in my cousins list. That is Jane Austen. She is my 8th cousin 6 times removed. Jane Austen was an English novelist known primarily for her 6 novels, such as Pride and Prejudice and Sense and Sensibility. Now, Helen Keller is my 9th cousin 3 times removed. Helen Adams Keller was an American author, disability rights advocate, political activist, and lecturer. Now I love this next actress because I love Lucy. Lucille Ball is my 9th cousin twice removed. Lucille Desiree Ball was an American actress, comedian, producer, and studio executive. She's gonna make it after all, and she did. Mary Tyler Moore is my 9th cousin 3 times removed. Mary Tyler Moore was an American actress, producer, and social advocate. She is best known for her roles on The Dick Van Dyke Show, and especially The Mary Tyler Moore Show. Now, you wanted to know who was on the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band album 3 times. That is my cousin, Shirley Temple. She is my 9th cousin twice removed. Shirley Jane Temple Black was an American actress, singer, dancer, and diplomat who was Hollywood's #1 box office draw as a child actress from 1934 to 1938. Later, she was named United States Ambassador to Ghana and Czechoslovakia, and also served as Chief of Protocol of the United States. Well, this name gives me a Disney spell. Walt Disney is my 9th cousin 3 times removed. Walter Elias Disney was an American animator, film producer, voice actor, and entrepreneur. A pioneer of the American animation industry, he introduced several developments in the production of cartoons. Another president here with Abraham Lincoln, who is my 10th cousin 3 times removed. Abraham Lincoln, 16th President of the United States, served from 1861 until his assassination in 1865. He led the United States through the American Civil War, defeating the Confederate States of America, playing a major role in the abolition of slavery, expanding the power of the federal government, and modernizing the U.S. economy. Bob Ross is my 10th cousin, once removed. Robert Norman Ross was an American painter and art instructor who created and hosted The Joy of Painting, an instructional television program that aired from 1983 to 1994 on PBS in the United States, CBC in Canada, and similar channels in Latin America, Europe, and elsewhere. This next feller ain't nothing but a hound dog. Elvis Presley is my 10th cousin. No removed or anything, he is my 10th cousin. Elvis Aaron Presley, known as Elvis, was an American singer and actor, known as the King of Rock and Roll. He is regarded as one of the most significant cultural features of the 20th century. Presley's energized performances and interpretation of songs and sexually provocative performance style, combined with a singularly potent mix of influences across color lines during a transformative era in race relations, brought both great success and initial controversy. So let me give you a royal treatment here. Queen Elizabeth II is my 10th cousin, twice removed. Elizabeth II, known by name Elizabeth Alexandra Mary, was Queen of the United Kingdom and other Commonwealth realms from the 6th of February in 1952 until her death in 2022.
You done glutton?
Now, I don't know these next two. I'd never heard of them before. A cultural thing. But for any New Zealand followers, and you know who you are.
I am a woman, hear me roar, in numbers too big to ignore, and I know too much to go back and pretend, 'cause I've heard it all before, and I've been down there on the floor. No one's ever gonna keep me down again. Oh yes, I am wise, love is wisdom for the pain. Yes, I paid the price, but look how much I gained. If I have to, I can do anything. I am strong, I am invincible, I am one.
Kate Shepard is my 10th cousin, 3 times removed. Catherine Wilson Shepard, born Catherine Wilson Malcolm, was the most prominent member of the women's suffrage movement in New Zealand and the country's most famous suffragist. Born in Liverpool, England, she emigrated to New Zealand with her family in 1868. And we have Bruce McLaren, who is my 10th cousin, 4 times removed. Bruce Leslie McLaren was a New Zealand racing driver, automotive driver, engineer, and motorsport executive. Oh, and I'll tell you this next woman, I loved her. Princess Diana is my 11th cousin, directly. Princess of Wales, born Diana Frances Spencer, was a member of the British royal family. She was the first wife of Charles III, then Prince of Wales, and mother of Princes William and Harry. It was outstanding, and glamour, she was a very glamorous woman, made her an international icon and earned her enduring popularity.
We begin bombing in 5 minutes.
Here's another direct line. Ronald Reagan is my 11th cousin. Ronald Wilson Reagan was an American politician and actor who served as the 40th President of the United States from 1981 to 1989. He was a member of the Republican Party and became an important figure in the American conservative movement. His presidency is known as the Reagan era. Winston Churchill is my 11th cousin. Sir Winston Leonard Spencer Churchill was a British statesman, military officer, and writer who was Prime Minister of the United Kingdom from 1940 to 1945 during the Second World War, and again from 1951 to 1955. Ginger Rogers is my 11th cousin, twice removed. She is the other person that should have made it onto the Sgt. Pepper's album cover, but her partner did instead. Ginger Rogers, who was born Virginia Catherine McMath, was an American actress, dancer, and singer during the golden age of Hollywood. Jacqueline Lee Kennedy Onassis is my 11th cousin, twice removed. Born Jacqueline Lee Bouvier, she was an American writer, book editor, and socialite who served as the First Lady of the United States from 1961 to 1963 as the wife of President John F. Kennedy. Here's another one I'm unfamiliar with, but I think it's a cultural thing. Jo Suarez is my 12th cousin, twice removed. Jose Eugenio Suarez, known professionally as Jo Suarez or Jo, was a Brazilian comedian, talk show host, author, musician, actor, and writer. For you sports fans out there, I've got the Bambino, the Sultan of SWAT, the Big Bopper. Babe Ruth is my 13th cousin. George Herman Babe Ruth was an American professional baseball player whose career in Major League Baseball spanned 22 seasons from 1914 through 1935. Now, if you want a beautiful day in your neighborhood, Fred Rogers is the one for you. And he is my 13th cousin. Fred McFeely Rogers. He's better known as Mr. Rogers, who was an American television host, author, producer, and Presbyterian minister. He was the creator, showrunner, and host of the preschool television series Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Set to the side, you'd better run and hide. More to the side, everybody wants to stay alive.
Finally, last but far from least, returning to my mom's side of the family, we have a quadruplet of talent. These brothers, Andy, Robin, Barry, and Maurice, are my 13th cousins, direct. If you don't know them, then you weren't staying alive in the 1970s. While Andy's life was cut short in 1988 from coronary issues, Barry, Robin, and Maurice had a very successful career spanning decades as the brothers group, the Bee Gees. Now they say you can't pick your family, which is true, and your tree will certainly produce some nuts. They will also produce some spectacular people who have made their mark on the world. Just be thankful you're not some unknown lord or lady of the chestnut. After all, it gave me a major case of the Bee Gees.